Good evening, fight fans, and welcome to another episode of Tough Sports TV. I'm your host, Jack Fletcher, and I'm delighted to welcome on this evening unified light welterweight champion, the one and only Tartan Tornado, Mr. Josh Taylor. Josh, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you doing yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, all things considered. Obviously, it's a very tricky, challenging, testing time at the minute for the whole of Great Britain, the whole of the world. We're in a lockdown once again. Boxing's been hit quite badly from it as well. What's your sort of viewpoint on the second lockdown and how things affecting yourself, Josh?
Well, we're slightly different up here up the road in Scotland. We're not in a national lockdown at the minute. Well, for the time being, I think it's probably going to go that way. But you know, I'm just sick of the full thing. To be honest, I think it's about time we start getting back to normal and people get their lives back on track and get back to normality. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are really suffering for this, not just through COVID, but through everything else, mental health and losing their businesses and depression and, you know, and people dying of other causes because they're not getting the treatment that they're needing from the hospitals or doctors and things like that. You know, it's just very frustrating seeing what's happening and what's happening to people's lives and livelihoods. You know, it's just it's very frustrating for me to watch and see. You know, I would like to get back to normal pretty quickly. You know, it's not good for the sport of boxing either, especially small hall shows and guys that are coming through and things like that. You know, it's going to cause a lot of people to pack boxing in and go and try and do other things to try and earn a living. You know, it's just having a terrible impact, the whole thing.
You're absolutely right. It's a very, very sad state of affairs. Obviously, your last fight was against the chap from Thailand, Konsong.
Yeah.
And you fought behind closed doors. What a formidable performance, really. Went in there straight away, coming strong, big body shot, and just took him out of the game straight away. Did you expect him to come with a bit more firepower than that? Because you made it look very easy, Josh.
Yeah, well, obviously it was quite an easy night's work. It ended up being, you know. But having said that, you know, like from watching videos of him and, you know, watching him fight, you were thinking, you know, he's only really got the punch and that's it, really. But when you get in there, you know, he 100%, and I really believe this, he will really 100% give some people a lot of trouble, because he has definitely got dynamite power and behind the gloves in his hands. You know, I know he never really hit me full on clean, but I come out and he threw the 1-2 at me, and I felt it straight away. I thought, nah, no way. There's no way I'm letting him like try and hit me or sort of try and feel out his power. Usually, I try and, you know, sort of suss people out what their firepower's like the first round, you know, and kind of suss them out that way, you know. And I felt it straight away. I just like, wow, this guy's got concussive power, you know. You know, and he had quite fast reactions and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I just caught him with a really, really good shot in the perfect spot at the perfect time, and cracked 3 of his ribs and an injury to his spleen as well. So it was a really bad injury. You know, people were saying that he dived and all that carry on and getting all this. You know, he got paid to take a dive, and you know these Thai fighters are very proud people. You know, they're born fighting coming out the womb. You know, they're a fighting nation, you know. So this guy would have been coming to give it his all and trying to change his life. But 3 cracked ribs and an injury to your spleen will definitely make you roll around in pain a little bit.
When you sunk that shot in from close range, did you know it was game over for him as soon as you connected?
Well, I felt it. The shot wasn't particular. I never threw it with a lot. Like, I wouldn't say it would be my hardest punch I've ever threw, but you know, I just threw it. I threw it with force. You know, I knew it was going to try and hit him. And when I watched the replay, you know, he tried to hit me with the right hand at the same time, and I ducked underneath it and scalped him in the ribs. And I felt it sinking right in, you know. And then I knew he was going down. He went down, but then when I obviously turned round when I got to the corner, he was rolling around in serious pain. So I knew straight away that was it over. And then obviously I found out later on that he was pretty badly injured. So yeah, it was a good shot. I definitely felt, you know, it sinking in, and you know, and the glove sinking in right through his body. So I knew I had hurt him.
I mean, with all this training and all this preparation for the actual fight, was you a little bit disappointed to get him out that early, or did you?
I was. You know, it was kind of like a bittersweet. You know, obviously I was kind of due a sort of a little bit of an easier night given my last 4 fights, and it was a little bit frustrating because I'd been working a long time with my new coach and Ben, and I wanted to show what we'd been working on and what we'd been improving on. Well, I guess I did show it, but it was only 2 minutes worth. I wanted to get a little bit more and see what I'd been doing. And let folks see that the relationship that Ben and I have got is really good and strong, and we're moving up onto bigger and better things. So in that sense, I was a little bit sort of let down a little bit, but in other sense, you don't get paid for overtime, and I got the job done, and I was back up the road. No bruises, no sore hands, no sore heads, no sore body. It was just it was perfect, really.
I mean, you're used to tens of thousands of fans chanting your name, Super Series, big arenas. What's the psychology behind a fighter when they're fighting behind closed doors? Because some people just say it's no different. Other boxers are affected by it. How did you personally feel when you walked into that studio on that night?
Yeah, but when you get in there, when you get in the ring and the bell goes, you switch on, you're concentrating and everything anyway. You don't really listen to the crowd when you're boxing and stuff like that anyway. It's you're purely focused on the guy in front of you and the fists that are flying towards you. But having said that, the whole experience was kind of alien. It was walking into the York Hall. There's no changing rooms, just curtained off areas. So you can hear everybody talking and warming up and all this and that. And then, you're getting introduced into the ring. You play your ring entrance music, and usually you sit and wait and let it play a little bit, and, you get the feel for the crowd and, the atmosphere. And then you walk out. But you're hearing your name getting called out. There's nobody there, maybe 20 people in the building. The music comes on. I thought I'll let it play for a little while, but you're like, there's no one here. Just get out to the ring. I felt a bit strange. It felt really weird. It felt like a glorified sparring session. But obviously, as soon as the bell goes, you're fully switched on. But it's like, you've got your titles on the line, and if you have a bad night, if you're not really switched on, you could lose your titles. And it was very strange. It was a very, very strange experience. I wouldn't be in a rush to be doing it again. But obviously, if I have to, I would. But I wouldn't be in a rush to go and do that again.
I mean, you're obviously an absolute class boxer at the top of your game, but even against fighters that aren't on your level, you can never really get complacent, can you, Josh?
No, you can never get complacent against anyone. It's boxing. Everybody's got that puncher's chance. It only takes one punch to ruin a career, or ruin your hopes and dreams, or even cause some damage. It only takes one punch. So you can't afford to underestimate any opponent, no matter how good or bad. It's you just can't do it.
So the talking point and the general consensus in the boxing world is the next fight will be yourself versus Ramirez. Any sort of developments on that at all, Josh?
Well, we're thinking, that obviously Jack Catterall is mandatory. He has agreed to step aside and let the fight happen if that's the next one yet. So he's agreed to let that happen. We're thinking maybe it's going to maybe be the beginning of the new year. It's not been done or confirmed or anything yet, so that's just about as much as I know at the minute. I need to speak to my management team, MTK, and get going on hear a little bit more word on what's happening. But we think it's going to be Ramirez next, and we think it's going to be the early part of next year. So yeah, it's exciting times ahead. Yeah, we can't wait.
When you look at Ramirez's skills, attributes in the ring, the way he moves around the ring, the way he counter punches, his overall skills as a boxer, what do you feel you could exploit on the night?
I think I can exploit a lot. He's very good. He's very strong. Come forward, sort of pressure fighter. But that seems to be his whole game. It seems to be. He brings every time. He comes forward, puts pressure on the front foot, hands up, turn down, and moves his head and tries to put you under pressure and go for the body and put combinations together. But I've seen that 100 times, over my career. I've seen it thousands of times, guys coming to put pressure on and trying to fight on the inside. And, if he does that and comes forward and tries to go put under pressure, he'll walk onto a shot and I'll put him out. I'll knock him out. And I really think that's what he's going to try and do. If he tries to be smart and box, then it's an easier night for me. Again, I think if he tries to box me, and he's definitely not going to match me on speed. I don't think he'll match me on boxing IQ either. So I think it's my fight to lose. I think it will be a very competitive fight, and it will be all action packed, 100%, because he comes to fight, I come to fight, and I like a fight as well. So I think his tactics is going to try and be to entice me into a fight, into a sort of toe-to-toe battle, which I think then becomes more of an even fight. But again, I think I outman him. I think I'm stronger than him. I think I'm faster than him. I think I hit just as hard as him. And I think it's my fight to lose, really.
I mean, realistically, in regards to sort of time frames, it's a very difficult to say when this fight will happen. But have you got any sort of inclination of when it might be announced at all, or go ahead?
No, I'm not had anything. Just I need to speak to my management team and sort of get an update. I need to speak to them this week or next week, so we should hopefully hear something in the next couple of weeks. What's happening, So I'll speak to them and we'll find out more. And as soon as I know, I guess, and you guys will know as well.
Obviously, there's so much happening in and around your weight division at the minute. Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko battled it out a good couple of weeks ago. I think your name was mentioned on a sort of post-fight interview. Lopez mentioned your name. What was your overview of that fight from your experience? What could you see?
I thought it was very good. The result with Lomachenko obviously did surprise me, and I think it surprised everyone else as well. I was expecting Lomachenko to come through that quite handily, but obviously, he did well. I thought he did very well. I think the key factor to him winning that fight was the size difference, the natural size difference. Teofimo Lopez, he looked massive compared to Lomachenko on the night. And then when they came together in the middle of the ring, he just looked like 2 or 3 weight divisions bigger, than Lomachenko. So I thought he was very good. His tactics were spot on. He kept nice and patient, putting out the jab, nice sharp jab, and outboxed him for like the first half of the fight. And I think Lomachenko left it too late to put the foot on the gas. I think if they fought again, I think Lomachenko would win it. I think he would start different and use different tactics and start earlier. I think Lomachenko would come up top of a rematch if they fought again. But why does Lopez want to give him a rematch? He's already beaten him, so and he beat him fair and square. It wasn't like it was a real close fight. I think I only scored Lomachenko about 4 or 5 rounds. So I think he did very well. Yeah, he was very well. So if he wants to come up and fight, yeah, it'd be a massive fight. It'd be a huge fight. He's a good fighter, and I think ultimately, I'd introduce him to the big boys.
I was going to come to that question next. Obviously, would you fancy fighting Lopez at some point in the future? And you've obviously just answered that. Huge fight coming up on the 14th of November. Brook, Terence Bud Crawford.
Yeah.
The general consensus is Bud Crawford's going to be a bit too much for Kell on the night. Timing, speed, accuracy, 36-0. How highly do you rate Bud Crawford?
Yeah, he's very good. He's a pound for pound best. He's a pound for pound king in my book. He's definitely the pound for pound best in my estimations. I think he's the best fighter on the planet at the minute. Having said that, I think he's beatable. He is very beatable. There's things that you see that he does that that I think Brook could probably give him a hard time as well. A lot of people are writing Brook off. I wouldn't write Brook off. He might be past his very best and whatever, but Brook is a very good fighter. He's strong. He's got fast hands as well. He can punch like a bull for the weight. He's massive for welterweight as well. So he's got all that in his favour going on to the night. I think Terence Crawford's quite small for welterweight. He's got speed and boxing ability, but in terms of strength and size and I think Brook can match him on boxing ability as well. I think Brook's a very smart, clever fighter. So I think it'll be a very good fight. I think it'll be quite close. I think Crawford will come out in points victory, but I think Kell gives him a hard time.
I mean, Josh, you're undefeated, unified welterweight champion. You're flying the crest of a wave at the minute. You know, you're doing ever so well. 12 months down the line, where can you see yourself? Where do you want to be in 12 months down the line?
Do you know what? I don't really think about it. I just take it fight at a time. You know, obviously the next one I'm focused on is Ramirez, so I'm just full focus on that. After that, you know, the options I've got now at going up in weight and getting a second weight world title, staying at 140, get massive fights. There's big fights at 140 as well to be had, both domestic and world scene. You know, there's massive fights to be had. You know, I actually feel I could actually go down a weight if I really wanted to, and go down to lightweight and challenge for a title there if I really wanted. You know, I think that the options I've got is sort of, I've got multiple options to do. You know, I'm not short for options. I'm not going to be railroaded into a one track. You know, I've got loads of options to go at the minute. I think every fight that I'm going to be in now is a big fight. So I'm in a good position, a good strong position, and kind of playing it on my terms and where I want to go. So we'll see how it goes. You know, everybody's saying I'm going to, you know, once I beat Ramirez, move up and, you know, go at 147 like it's a given, like it's going to happen. I'm making 140 really comfortable. You know, now that I've got a nutritionist on board and you know, dietitian, you know, and all that on board and that as well. Now it's just it's making the weight so much easier now. So it's like making that last fight there. The weight was like, fight week was a piece of cake. You know, it was real easy. So I felt real strong as well. So listen, I'm in no rush to jump up to 147. Actually, the way I think that I made weight, I could even make 135, make lightweight if I really wanted to. But so we'll just see how it goes. I think no matter what happens, I think I'm in big fights from now on. There's round about lightweight and welterweight. The pool of talent and pool of fights is massive. You know, so I think there's a great bunch of talent around at the minute, and you know, brilliant. So there's a whole lot of money flying about at these weight classes at the minute. So yeah, I'm pretty happy where I am at the minute, and we'll just see where it goes and what's the best option for me and what I think's next.
Good stuff. Josh, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be tuning in this evening, and they're going to be suffering from anxiety, depression, struggling with the lockdown, probably need a little bit of inspiration, because it is very, very tough times for the whole of the country, the whole of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, what pearls of sort of wisdom can you give people that probably, you know,
it's pretty tough, you know, especially when you're in lockdown. If you're struggling with mental health and, you know, and things like that, but loneliness, try and just get out of the house. Try and get out of the house and walk about, or, you know, go do a little bit of exercise if you like to do a bit of exercise. Try and keep your mind off staying in the house and being alone and thinking about all the bad things that is going on at the minute. Try and stay a little bit positive and, you know, maybe meet up, maybe not supposed to, but maybe meet up with a couple of your friends and go out a walk or and go do something outdoors, you know, and try and stay positive. Try not get dwelled down and because everybody's having a bit of a shit time at the minute. So just try and stay positive. Hopefully this doesn't last much longer and we can get back to normal as soon as possible. So just stay strong and keep fighting is all as I can say.
Just talk me through a day in the life of Josh Taylor. I mean, what do you do when you get up first thing in the morning? Do you go up, get up, go out, go for a run straight away?
Well, at the minute, you know, it's pretty same. It's pretty similar up here. You can't really do much. There's not much places open to go maybe have something to eat or, you know, go shopping, and there's all these restrictions. You have to go one way and you have to wait in queues to go to the shops if you want to go and do things, and, you know, it's a real pain in the backside to try and go and do anything at the minute. So life at the minute is for me is very slow paced, boring, and you know, it's pretty frustrating, you know. So I'm just trying to get out the house in the mornings, do a bit of exercise, a bit of training out in the gym, you know, and, you know, go out walking, see some of my friends outside and things like that. You know, usually I would take the dog a walk, but my dog just passed away a couple of weeks ago, so it's like it's pretty shit at the minute. So it's not great. It's not great.
Sorry to hear about
just
that.
Need to try. Just need to try and keep the mind occupied. You know, I'm doing a bit of training every day, doing a bit of stuff around the house, and just trying to keep occupied, really.
I was talking to Asgi a couple of days ago, and he told me that you called your dog Pac-Man.
Yeah, after Manny Pacquiao, yeah.
And you having a tattoo, are you?
Yeah, I just got one done yesterday, actually. It's here on the side of the leg. Sorry, there, dropped the phone. It's here on the side of the leg there. It looks just like him.
That's awesome. Is it
the detail in it is just brilliant. You know, it's amazing. So
is he a
got a
Staffy or a Rottweiler?
He's always going to be by my side, the wee man.
Is he a Staffy or a Rottweiler, Josh?
Yeah, Staffy. Yeah, It's the tattoo of him is just identical to him. It's just amazing.
Well, yeah, condolences. It's not nice losing not nice losing a pet. So I'm really sorry to hear about that, Josh. But it's been wonderful talking to you today. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to speak to you about the lockdown, your training, future plans, and all that. Any final words at all?
No, nothing really much. Just anybody that's watching, try and stay positive. This isn't going to last forever. Hopefully, not too much longer. We can get back to normal and get on with our lives. So stay strong and thanks for all the support if you're watching. And hopefully, I can provide you with some massive fights and big entertaining fights. So yeah, thanks for the support. I really appreciate it, and I hope to keep pleasing you all.
Lovely, Josh. Josh, it's been great talking to you today. Thanks for coming on to Tough Sports TV, and catch up with you again soon.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, mate.